calls the nearest plumber about the unexpected plumbing issue, her daughter is watching an Islamic story for children, and her young son is jumping in joy because he won a prize in an Islamic competition for youth on MuslimDo. Here is the whole family gathering together to watch the MuslimDo live show at night. MuslimDo App. The new update is out now, so download it. MuslimDo. Your community is at your fingertips.
Turn your screen to fun and learn mode. MuslimDo application connects you with your Muslim community, masjid, halal business, and Islamic centers. In cooperation with Muslim Kids TV, a halal alternative for Muslim children around the world. They both offer a wide variety of media for Muslim kids. A media that builds, creates a correct belief, and teaches. Download the MuslimDo app and take advantage of many benefits. You won't find it in one place except in the MuslimDo app. Prayer time, halal business directory, interactive map, live programs and competitions, and many more very soon. Another surprise is waiting for you when downloading the MuslimDo application. Get free subscription coupons for a month at Muslim Kids TV. And enjoy more than 15,000 content, videos, games, iBooks, Quran app, and comic creator. MuslimDo and Muslim Kids TV, we work together for the future of your Muslim child.
هذا المقطع إهداء لإخواننا المسلمين في كندا. حياء منه الأدب يستقى، بين النساء مقامها العلي أشرق.
Assalamu alaikum Muslimdo. Once again, I'm back with another episode. Jazakallah khair everyone for tuning in, and I would like to thank everyone working in the background, like Dr. Amjad Korsha and his crew, for all their hard work. May Allah bless you all. So today, I will be talking about a place that, you know, the whole world knows, from Beijing to Moscow to everywhere. Everyone knows about this place. The state of California. Okay. California. So I actually went there last week and it was beautiful. Like, people say it's overrated, but you know, seeing the valleys, subhanallah, seeing, like, you know, the climate and everything, it's beautiful. It's a great place to go. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Of course it can't compete with, like, you know, other Middle Eastern areas or even Asian places in Asia, sorry, but it's a good place to go if you want to go in the parameters of North America. So yes, the valleys are beautiful, the people were nice, but what I really wanted to focus on today is the history of the name California. Okay, so it's actually so interesting. Like, I was just randomly researching, and I just learned this. So this information, by the way, is provided by the California Educational Television. And basically, the name California derives from a 16th century Romance novel written by a Spanish author named Garcia Ordóñez de Montalvo. Okay, so what he writes this book, and it's called The Exploits of the Very Powerful Cavalier Esplandian, or the son of the excellent King Amadis of Gaul. And in this book, he mentions California, and he basically describes it as an island very close to the Garden of Eden, so defining it like heaven, full of gold, and basically ruled by strong women, right? So that's how the story goes. It's populated by, you know, these amazing animals, etc. But that's the book. But what we need to know so far is that California is derived from this book made by Montalvo. However, where did Montalvo get the word California? Like, sure, he wrote it in his book, but he must have gotten it from somewhere. So basically, the name, so the 16th century Spanish explorers got the name from Montalvo's story, which is why they named it California, which is the state of California. But the inspiration of this word was likely from the word Khalif or Khalifa, which means successor in Arabic, but more specifically refers in Islam as the head of state or the leader of the Muslims. So how did Montalvo get Khalifa? How did he get that? So because during that time he definitely had influence, because portions of Spain were still being ruled by the Moors, or the Moorish people, which are the Muslims, from 757 to 1492. And basically it fits the story's narrative. So we can basically conclude that California has Islamic origin, like the name has Islamic origin from the word Khalifa or Caliph. So in addition to coffee, algebra, hospitals, and toothbrushes, the name of our state, or the name of the state California, finds its origin from the Muslim world. Just like our present day state, the name California is a confluence of multiple cultural influences. So when I went to there, you could see that it has a very strong influence of Hispanic influence. Like, the houses were built in that way, you know, earthquake resistant, because they're all small, etc. But what really amazed me is the Muslim community living there. The Muslim community living there is well established. The people, like, I met some people that were literally their grandparents literally were with Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement. So that's how old the community is there. You could say that for example, in San Jose, there's the Silicon Valley. That whole place is all tech. Okay, so which is why there's a lot of Indian, Pakistani, Asian Muslims because of the tech industry there. However, there's also an accounting industry, there's also the medical industry. So that's why there's a huge Islamic influence in that area. So when I saw this, right, and when I went to the masjids are, very stable financially, helping other people get financially stable, having restaurants, having services that, help out people that can't afford food. It was all there. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, we'll see that here too in our community of Oakville as our communities get stronger. But we can also see that, it's second generation Muslims there. Like there's already a whole generation that, has been raised in America. And this is the second generation of Muslims. You can see the closeness of the community, no matter what race they are, what background they come from. There's so many interracial marriages between that community. And the best part of it is how the Muslims give back to their community. Because there they excel in IT and they excel in the medical field. When we went to do our PCR testing to come back to Canada, like normally they charge like $130 per person, but these Muslims have actually made their own laboratory testing area specifically for the community members so that they can do their PCR and antigen testing for COVID so that they don't have to go outside and pay for it somewhere else. So that's a great way of giving back to the community, alhamdulillah, which is what I saw from that is that how we should, see our skill set, see what we're good at, and see how we can help others benefit from what we're good at. So whatever that skill set might be, either in the arts, in public speaking, in business, whatever that is, because we need all of that. We don't just need one portion of it. So that's my scoop for California this week. Jazakallah khair MuslimDo for having me, and assalamu alaikum.
بقلب بلدة أوكفيل بيطلع عليكم فريش واي ماركت بموقعه المميز وبمنتجاته الفريدة والمتنوعة واللي بتلبي جميع احتياجاتكم اليومية مهما اختلفت الأصناف والأذواق. فريش واي ماركت ومن خلال أقسامه المتنوعة بيوفر لك تجربة تسوق فريدة وخدمة عملاء مميزة. خضار وفواكه طازجة وبمختلف أنواعها، أجبان وألبان منوعة، منتجات وتموينات عربية عالية الجودة وفي متناول اليد يومياً. حلويات شرقية من دول مختلفة، مخبوزات طازجة يومياً، وبتوفر عنا خدمة التوصيل للمنازل عند الطلب. زورونا على عنواننا في أوكفيل، أونتاريو 2427 ترافالغر رود. فريش واي ماركت، الجودة هي عنواننا.
Well, others did this diligence before us. However, we could go even farther. Four distinct features of the MuslimDo are added and developed to its many features and advantages. Quran. You can easily browse the Holy Quran on the application and search it in terms of surah or juz. You can listen to the recitation of each verse and read its interpretation and translation. Sibha. Keeping in contact with Allah through your phone is possible through Askar and Tasbih using MuslimDo Sibha. Qibla. It gives you a precise determination of the correct direction from anywhere on earth. Radio. A collection of the most beautiful recitation of the Noble Quran with the voice of your favorite reciter on your phone. MuslimDo. An application that professionally offers features that it can create a standalone application. MuslimDo. Enjoy great flexibility and convenience in use. MuslimDo. Everything a Muslim needs.
Everyone, my name is Moran Abdurrabbo and I'm a third-year student at Queen's University. Welcome back to my program on this season of MuslimDo. I'm honored to be here today, as usual. I'd like to thank the great team behind this app for their efforts and dedication. I'd like to thank Dr. Amjad for his coordination and everything like that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them all the very best. The little session I'm going to give about today is directed to anyone about to embark on the critical mission of career choice. Whether they're just graduating from high school or you've graduated a while ago and you're thinking of even restarting your education, or maybe you've even been in the career for, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 years, and you're thinking of maybe shifting over to a different field or whatever category you're in right now. I really think you really need to listen to this. Even more, if you're a parent or a caretaker or a family member of someone who's about to make a decision on his or her career, and that's something you really, really need to listen to. It's very important. And by the way, this comes at a good timing. I believe most universities here in Canada, they now sort of begin to issue their acceptances the first couple of rounds. So in a minute, and I'm sort of talking about within the cultural norms of the most Muslim communities. So in a minute, you're gonna have that one very smart kid over there say, I want to be a doctor, go to medical school. And his parents and his relatives are gonna cheer him on and push him forward and support him or her with all they got. And similarly, you're gonna have another kid, for example, wanting to go into engineering. And everyone's going to be so excited, happy for him, and his mom and dad will sort of, start bragging about him to all their relatives back home and stuff like that. But then you also have a third kid, also very smart, very gifted, and he wants to go into history or political science or Sharia or religion. He's really passionate about the field and he wants to sort of be an authority in it, like a professor or a writer or a diplomat or, a political figure, archaeologist or faqih. Something like that, and suddenly just all hell breaks loose. Their parents are going to go to them, are going to be like, are you stupid? What the hell are you going to do with that useless degree? You're never going to have a career. Who's going to hire you? You're going to be poor all your life. You're going to be worthless. All your cousins and siblings, they're doctors and engineers. Why do you have to be the shameful kid, the failure in the family? I think we're all aware sort of this happens, but wallahi, I'm not exaggerating. This problem is much more common, much more severe than people think. I swear I've seen with my own eyes, some parents all but disown their children, because of this issue. And it's not like they were bad sons or daughters who did drugs or were promiscuous or no, they were very good, very decent. The only problem is they had different career ambitions than their parents had in mind for them, or that even their culture had in mind for them. We're sort of even allowed. You know, there are way too many Muslim students out there studying medicine or engineering or maybe even computer science. And if you go to them and ask them why they're studying in that field, committing so much time, effort, and money into that profession, way too many of them will be like, well, because my parents want me to, or because it's a good job, it pays the bills. You know, we've raised a generation upon a generation on the principle that the most important thing in life is to have a good job, to find someone to hire you for a decent salary. And you know, the only way this will happen is by being a doctor or by being an engineer. Basically, we, the whole Muslim Ummah, we decided that we're going to take sort of our most valuable human resources, right? Our smartest, most talented youth, and we're going to make them all skilled laborers. Make no mistake, being a doctor, engineer, wonderful career, and it can bring about so much good. But in the end, what kind of jobs are they? They're skilled labor. You're a laborer, you're a worker. Yes, you're very specialized, but you know, what happens is we take our most talented individuals, our strongest minds, and we actively deter them from careers that involve thought, such as politics, such as psychology, such as religion. And we become a nation that lacks thinkers. We experience this staggering deficiency in innovative social thought. And because we took all those potential pioneers within the social sciences and we threw them all to med school, we become an ummah that's intellectually dry. And I genuinely believe sort of this deficiency in Islamic political scientists, historians, proper academic theologians is one of the reasons the Muslim Ummah is lagging behind today. Because you need those types of thinkers in order to be able to build civilization, but you just don't have any. For example, in the West in the Dark Ages, and then in the Renaissance, you know, they were in the Dark Ages, and then the sort of Renaissance came around. And that was the turning point that sort of led them into prosperity. And sort of the main hallmark of the Renaissance was the emergence of this novel genre of political thought in many areas, in philosophy, in religion, in politics, in economics, in art. We all know the famous Enlightenment thinkers. And I repeat, they're called thinkers. This, you know, that marked this period, like John Locke, Thomas Hobbes, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Charles Montesquieu, all their works, and, you know, they're core pillars of the West today. Pillars of civilization. So if it was up to me, economics professors and political science professors and theologians, they would be paid higher than their engineering or medicine counterparts because of the immense benefit they bring to society. So that's one thing. So, you know, those cultural attitudes we have about careers, I believe, are actively setting us back on the world stage. But it's way more than just that. Parents really, they need to fear Allah when dealing with their children regarding this issue. Let me give you guys a quick story. I was once at an educational institution here in Canada, and that institution, it had a Muslim chaplain, you know, the one who was responsible for overseeing Muslim students and helping them out. He was a lovely individual, really, really good friend of mine. And I was talking to him one day about this specific topic, and he asked me a question. And he was like, do you know how old I am? So I was like, I don't know, 39, 45. I was just guessing. And then he went yesterday and he said, he went and said, yesterday I turned 40 years old. So I was like, happy birthday, he was starting to jubilate and stuff like that. But then he just cut me off abruptly. He told me to shut up. Like that, shut up. And then he said, you don't even know how I felt yesterday. I was the most miserable man in the world. Sort of the atmosphere in the room was now depressing. And he was like, when I graduated from high school in Canada, I wanted to travel abroad to Al-Azhar University. I wanted to dedicate my life to theology, become a proper scholar. But then my parents instead made me study computer science over here, and which killed my soul. I dropped out after 2 years, jumped around between a whole bunch of different jobs, and in the end, I achieved none of the dreams or ambitions I hoped for in my life. He's not the only one, by the way. Boy, there are so many people like him. You know, their cultural norms or their parents, they forced them into a career path they never really had any hopes for. And halfway through their life, they're depressed, they're unmotivated, resentful of their parents, resentful of society, resentful of themselves and their lives. They feel worthless. So here's the thing: never go into a career in order to please someone else. That's about it. The one who's going to end up working in that career for the rest of their life is not you, is you. It's not your parents, it's not your family, not society, it's you. Well, sometimes I run this thought experiment in my head, and I think, like, if the prophets were alive today, the prophets within our present ideologies, right, wouldn't they be shamed and rejected for the jobs they worked? I mean, think about it. We know that they were the elites of, the human race, but when we think about it, they were all sheep herders, carpenters, blacksmiths, and you know very well how some of our cultures look down on those jobs. And there's nothing wrong with those jobs, by the way. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Wouldn't those great people, magnificent people, be shamed today for their jobs and for their careers? So make no mistake, if you end up going into a field to please other people, and you yourself aren't even pleased by it, you'll never find any meaning in what you do. And there's nothing worse in life than a life without meaning, because it's just an unfulfilling life. It's nothing but suffering and feeling miserable. One day you're going to turn 40 and reality will hit. You're going to resent yourself in such an awful way. You won't even know what to do about it. Jordan Peterson, I heard him say once, it's a luxury to pursue what makes you happy. It's a moral obligation to pursue what you find meaningful. Yes, picking a career is a risky decision, but you should be more afraid right now of staying in something or going into something that's making you miserable. And some people, they just surrender to careers they find no meaning in because they're like, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. I mean, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. If you're miserable in a career now and you change nothing, down the road, you're going to be even more miserable, but also a lot older.